we have this whole thing in America now where we're talking about loneliness, and this is what I wanted to address this and talk about this because the ruling class every now and then likes to they really like to take the spotlight off themselves. God bless them. They like to kind of step out of the spotlight every now and then, the ruling class. God love them. And what they're doing now, if you've noticed this, this new thing is being pushed. I'm telling you, and you're gonna understand it immediately. The new billionaire thing, because for a while they tried. Now, if you remember, like we always look at Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal and Insider, all these where they push this kind of like junk science. They see it's like an open mic for billion. They try to see like what sticks. They throw things out. They're like, you don't need a kitchen. Remember that article? They're like, people don't need kitchen. They don't need dining rooms. Americans are happy with smaller houses. And then they do the whole thing where it's like, nobody really wants to retire. People like working till they die. The new thing now that they're workshopping this. They're doing this. This is USA Today, another offender. Americans are lonely and it's killing them. How the U.S. can combat this new epidemic. So the ruling class now is pushing this narrative. You're dying because you're lonely. It's not the food. It's not the shitty health care. It's not the jobs. It's not the unaffordability of everything. It's because you're sad. You'll have your friends. That's what the billionaire class is now pushing. They're pushing this idea that the biggest epidemic in America is not opioids. It's loneliness. That's what's killing everybody. It's because they're lonely. We've done the studies. We've figured it out. Nothing more to see here. It has nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with us. It is loneliness. You don't have any friends. You don't have friends, and they don't hang out with you. So what they're trying to do, and it's all quite brilliant, by the way. It is spread like wildfire. All of these articles. Loneliness is the plague. It is the plague. People are lonely. Loneliness only gets worse. These are the articles, too. Loneliness only gets worse as you age. Ignore loneliness. Listen, we all know friends are great. Communities are great. Social engagements are wonderful. We know that technology has made the world more lonely and more isolating. Okay? But whenever I see a coordinated attempt to push a narrative, I always have to question why. Okay, so let's just here, go back to that next page. Loneliness is at epidemic levels, okay? Health and Human Services are epidemic of loneliness. NPR, America has a loneliness epidemic. All of these places are saying you are lonely and that is your issue. That is why you are miserable. Now, we've said on the show many, many times that the decline of social activities is a thing. The great book, Bowling Alone, which I've referenced several times, they're not necessarily all wrong here. But to say that it's the only issue and it's the only prevalent concern in people's lives is that they are lonely and that is what is killing them. It takes a lot of pressure off any of these companies that don't have to change anything they're doing. You know what makes you less lonely? Affording a home in a community of other people. That might make you less lonely. Yeah. But they don't really address that. They don't say the lack of affordability is killing America. They don't say that. They say it's loneliness. They don't say drugs coming in from the southern border like fentanyl are killing me. They go, it's lonely. You're alone. You're alone and you're dying. So what are you supposed to even do? By the way, what are you supposed to do? What would you do? what would be the response to that? If you are lonely, make a friend. Also, read a book. You could work on yourself. You could learn things. There are a lot of things you can do when you're alone that can significantly and substantially better your life. And there's a lot of groups of people that are groups of losers that will only destroy your life. The people that write these articles would rather you in one of those, by the way. It's loneliness. That's the biggest problem. You think if you went through the projects and you talk to people and you go, what do you think the big issues are here? You think you get loneliness? I'm asking. You go, what do you think the big issue is? In fact, in many of the areas where you have lots of problems in America, people seem to be hanging out quite often. You know? Diddy wasn't lonely. He had lots of people around. Is loneliness the reason for Sean P. Diddy Combs' problems? Was it all loneliness? When you are lonely, there are lots of things you can do. You can work on your mental, physical health. You can get degrees. You can read books. I'm not saying that you can't. You should make friends. You should participate in the community. You should be trying to maybe get into a relationship if that's something that you want. But this idea that we can offload all of the problems in America on simply loneliness, that's it. And there's nothing else to blame. There's nobody else to blame. And we can't do anything other than tell you that you're lonely. People that are lonely know that they're lonely. How about making cheaper? Schools cheaper. They can meet people in school they can't afford to go. You could do that, make school cheaper, and then lonely people could go to school and take an archaeology class or something. I don't know. That might help. You might meet somebody fun in the archaeology class. You know? 1 in 3 Americans feels lonely. Let's read this one. Psychiatry.org. 1 in 3 Americans feels lonely every week. So this is another thing, by the way. This is the way. Here's what we're going to do. Can I call it? Can I call it right now? Can I call it right now? We're creating a new disease to which will be medicated. I'm telling you right now, heed what I am saying. This is like when they try to claim everyone's autistic now. It's not true. Everyone's not autistic. Some people are, but not every. I hear all that I go out to dinner with people, and they go, well, you know, everyone is autistic now. It's the toxins in the wood. It's the toxins in the wood. There's actually chemicals in the chair, and now everybody's autistic, and no one can even blink. You go, is that it? I don't think so. There are autistic people, but they're not all over the place. They're not falling out of the cupboard. They're just, people make it sound like when you walk through, I don't know, a department store, you're just tripping over people that are severely autistic. That's not true. Yes, there is more autism now, but not everyone. Unless they're expanding the autism definition to include literally anyone. Literally anyone. If you take more than a second to order a meal and you're looking at a restaurant menu, that's now considered autism. What I'm saying is loneliness is coming as a treatable malady. I'm telling you, this is why they do this stuff. Because what they're saying to people is, this is killing you. Notice the words. You are being killed by loneliness. They're not telling you, hey, loneliness is part of the human condition. Everybody in their life is going to occasionally feel loneliness at some times or others. Some people are going to be more lonely than others. Some people have lots of friends around them and they're still lonely. What they are saying is that loneliness is this epidemic that is killing you. And if something is an epidemic that is killing you, cha-ching, cha-ching, here comes Pfizer, here comes Merck, here comes Novartis, here comes all of these different companies. They're going to queue up a drug that I guess makes you feel not lonely when you're alone. It'll be some drug, and it'll be called, Frenzum. Frenzum. Have you tried Frenzum? Well, Frenzum actually simulates the kind of feelings that you have when you're having exchanges with people, although you can be alone in your townhouse. Try Frenzum. I'm telling you, I should use it because I've talked about this issue on the show before, and I don't disagree that the erosion of America's social fabric has contributed to a lot of problems. I would be stupid to disagree with that, okay? I don't think that people writing these articles really care about that. I think they're trying to make loneliness into a disease that can be medicated. This is my guess. I could be wrong. When Americans feel lonely, they reported easing these feelings through many different means. And by the way, they will start linking this to, look, 50% find a distraction like TV, podcasts, or social media. So you know the next thing here. You're listening to podcasts because you're lonely. That's why you're lonely. And some of that, sure, but it's going to be like, well, they embrace these conspiracy theories because they're lonely. They question the government because they're lonely. And you're going to go, oh, wait a minute. So if I question anything at all, it's because you're lonely. You don't have any friends. Why are we giving all this money to the Ukraine? You don't have any friends. I don't understand why 8-year-olds should medically change their gender. You're a lonely That's why you spend all day thinking about this. You don't have any friends. Oh, I guess so. You need to go to a therapist and you need to get on our new drug now. It's all about figuring out ways to stigmatize and marginalize anyone that questions anything, by the way. Anyone that questions anything is immediately stigmatized and marginalized in some way. And then we need to put everybody on a drug and everybody needs to subscribe to the program. And if you're not subscribed to the program, you're an antisocial person. We cut off the social media. We get you out of here. You're bothering us. You're bothering us. Ask a question. But so this is what I mean about the whole lonely thing. It's coming on strong now, isn't it? The loneliness. It's every article is you're lonely. We have gotten everyone in this country on meds for depression, for anxiety. Everybody. Young people are taking so many SSRIs. Nobody's dick works anymore. Everybody's on ADD. Everybody's on meds for everything. Now we're just, including anything that might be, and I'm not saying that there are a lot of people that need medication and should take it. 1,000%. My mother was one of them. There are depressed people with anxiety, people that need medication. There are also people that are making themselves sick. Our culture makes them sick. Okay? Our food makes them sick. Our media diet makes them sick. The constant disorientation, this disorienting landscape that we all live in, where up is down and down is up and black is white and white is black, and questioning any of it, you're called a psychopath, makes people a little uneasy. There's all kinds of things, but this is very strange. Clearly, we believe technology can be used to connect with others. In some cases, however, it seems to be helping us reach people who become part of our inner circles. However, distracting yourself when you're feeling lonely with social media might be a double-edged sword. While it can connect, it can also lead to feelings of missing out. So very soon we are going to have some type of cure for this, and we're just going to put a lot of people on drugs. That's just, the pharmaceutical industry makes more money than any other business in America. I think it's number one. Pharmaceutical business is number one. And all of these articles right now do not seem to me to be a genuine concern for people. They seem to be the precursor to how do we cure loneliness.